Let's learn Argostars, and welcome back to Let's Learn, the show where I sit down with a bunch of cards I've never looked at before and try to see if I can figure them out. I'm a Hardleg Joe, if you didn't know, joined as always by Twitch chat down there, just putting all the cats in the chat that they can muster. And today we're gonna learn Argostars, brand new archetype that just came out on Master Duel. I think they're like UAs, except with anime girls. They seem to be vaguely sports related. This one's got like a baseball bat. Their field spell is a stadium. They don't appear to be doing other sports. They're just kind of like there, and they've kind of got jerseys. There's also very few of them, very small archetype, no extra deck cards unless you count this one OCG card, which we don't, because it's not out in Master Duel yet. And yeah, if you're unfamiliar with this show, it's a blind deck building show. I'm going to be going in here, looking at these for the first time, and trying to use my years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Experience to intuit how they work. So if you're looking for the best Argostars list, the best build you can use that has the most competitive tech, you won't find it here. Instead, think of this as more of an introduction to the archetype, but more important, some insight into the process. When new cards come out, how do Yu-Gi-Oh! Players learn them? How do they figure out how the deck works? I'll show you some of the process, we'll read through everything, and maybe you'll learn a little bit along the way. Before we get jumping in too far though, I gotta thank this episode's sponsor, you, maybe, possibly, depends if you're a patron or not. You see, I try not to take corporate sponsors on this channel. I think I've done like 1 in 10 years. I just really don't like advertising for other people. It feels kind of icky. So I try to do everything with Patreon and just whatever ads YouTube puts on there. So if you appreciate that, if you like the content I make, or you just think I'm a dandy fellow, then consider joining everyone else at patreon.com/hardleggaming. There's a link down in the description. Just $1 would really help, like every little bit counts. And of course, if you want to go higher than $1, there's little rewards. You could see episodes a day early. You get your name in the credits of the big long ladder climb videos. You could even help decide what those ladder climbs play. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, without further ado, let's jump into this. Alright, so first things first, when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! There is one particular kind of card that is really good at unifying all the effects of a single archetype. And those who have watched the show for a long time already knows what it is. Chat, do you know what it is? The field spell. Maxi, shut up. That's right, at least some of them are right. Field spells generally kind of condense the whole archetype together, give you an idea of the themes. So if you're trying to learn what a set of cards is going to do, that's probably the best place you could start. Doesn't always work, but usually it does. So let's go ahead and start with Argostars Home Stadium. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, add an Argostars card from your graveyard or banishment to your hand. Each time a continuous trap in the spell trap zone is special summoned to your field, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Once per chain, if a continuous trap activates its effect in your monster zone, while you have a banished Argostars monster, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Alright, quite a lot there, and also, I'm already seeing why this is maybe not the best archetype, why it has a bad reputation. Most field spells these days will add a card when they're activated. They act as a search card. This one doesn't. It gets you a card from the grave or banishment only, so it's recovery, and for some reason it costs life points. If the life points end up being important, if this is something like Gold Pride where you need to have lower life points, that would make sense. Otherwise, it's just a cost on a card that doesn't need to have one. After that, you can tell, obviously, we're going to have continuous traps. I mean, we could see that just here. We have 2 monsters and 3 continuous traps. But we can already tell from here that those are going to be trap monsters. We're going to be summoning them. Each time we do 500 damage, which is more useful in the TCG, where you can, win by time, whoever has the most life points. On Master Duel, I mean, I guess every little bit helps. I'm not going to be upset that we have bonus burn damage, but I don't think it's going to be making much of a difference unless this is a burn deck like Trickstar. And then, what was this last part? If a continuous trap activates its effect in the monster zone while you have a banished Argostars, negate. So we've got a non-once per turn negate, which is pretty good. I would rather have a non-once per turn, like, bounce or destroy or something like that. But, you know, a negate is still a negate. Although we're going to have to activate these. I'm going to just imagine these are all hard once per turns. So potentially up to 3, I'm going to imagine. 3 negates per turn, assuming we can activate and resolve all of these while we have an Argostars banished. So I'm going to assume that these banish themselves, unless this is like absolutely never going to go off because you got to wait for the opponent to banish stuff. I don't know. I have more questions than answers, but I have a general idea of what's going on. We're summoning continuous traps. We're hopefully banishing stuff. Let's see where we go from here. Now, normally, the next place after the field spell would be to look at the extra deck monster, and they do have one, but as I said in the intro, OCG only, so we're going to ignore this for now. We can't make use of this. Instead, we're just going to start with the monsters. Usually monsters make the deck. Obviously, these are some kind of monsters too, but let's see what the actual main deck monsters do. These are both the same level, so let's just start with the one that has higher attack. Argostars, Glorious Adra? Where's minus Ra? Am I right, gamers? Alright, so we've got an Earth Warrior, level 4, 1818. And during the opponent's turn, if you control a continuous trap, quick effect, banish this from your hand, make the attack of one monster on the field 0 until the end of this turn. If this card is normal summoned, this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of continuous trap cards or their effects. You can banish this card you control, place up to 2 Argostars continuous traps with different names from your hand or deck in your spell trap zones face up. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, so the last one is once per turn, the other ones aren't. So if you happen to open with 2 of them, you can keep one in your hand to use the quick effect. The quick effect is not great. I mean, it is non-targeting, but it just lowers a monster to 0. It's anytime during the opponent's turn, so presumably I can do that during the damage step. So we've at least got a neat battle trick, but whether or not that's useful will depend on how strong the trap monsters actually are. And then if this is normal summoned, they can't react to stuff, and then you place 2. Okay, so it's kind of like a rescue rabbit for the deck. I don't think you can ash it because it places cards, and ash is only like add or send to the graveyard or something like this. So probably a starter. I'm going to say that if your deck revolves around these continuous traps, being able to place 2 of them on the first turn, probably something that you want to play 3 of. Maybe we'll find out otherwise. It has a lot of utility, if nothing else. It's just unfortunate because so far it doesn't seem like it does much on its own other than banish itself. But at least it does banish itself, you know. We're not going to wait for our opponents to banish something for home stadium to be on. This will be on as soon as we activate it. Still not sure if this is a 3 of since it is recovery, but since it's our only disruption at the moment other than making a monster's attack 0, probably want to play this at 3. With such a small archetype, I imagine almost everything will be at 3, but we'll see, we'll see. Okay, next up, let's look at our other main deck monster, Argostars, Fierce Parthe. Like Parthian, perhaps? Is this some kind of reference to Greek, like Jason and the Argonauts? But sports? They got an Argonaut in the background, I think? I don't know. We got another warrior, level 4, Earth. Is everything Earth warriors? We'll have to see. Warrior Light, Warrior Light, Warrior... Okay. So these are all lights when they're summoned, and these are Earths. So I'm trying to think if, like, there's the Dominus cards. I think we can use one of them. I'll have to look at those. Those are something we might want to consider if we've only got 2 attributes to worry about. Either way, this is a level 4 warrior, 14/14, and the following effect. Gain 700 attack and defense for each Argostars monster with a different name you control, except this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Quick effect. Reveal this in your hand, return 1 continuous trap to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. You can banish this card you control to set 1 continuous trap from your hand. It can be activated this turn. Alright, so I guess we've got some damage, potentially. Let me break out the old calculator real quick, because I'm bad at math. Let's assume we've got all 3 traps. That's 700 times 3. plus 1,400. That would be 3,500. So not bad, but not nearly an OTK range. I guess if you also had the other, like, main deck monster, you go up to 42. It's good to have some high attack, but it rarely comes up. The other effect is, I don't know, I'm kind of iffy. It helps you dodge out of removal and stuff, but that doesn't happen a lot. Unfortunately, the banish is not a quick effect, so you can't, like, dodge out during your opponent's turn and then set a trap and then activate it that turn. It's mostly for doing first turn combos. Whether or not this is good is really going to depend on whether or not this is a go first or go second deck. I think it's go first. It doesn't appear to have any OTK ability. But probably more importantly, how many of the continuous traps are we going to play? If these are so good that you always want to open with them and we're playing like 3 of each, then getting them out of your hand is probably worth it. Like just being able to like activate one on the first turn and do stuff might be good. As it stands, this seems pretty iffy. Although at the moment we don't have a way to search anything, so we may end up playing like 3 copies of it regardless. Alright, so after that we do have a quick spell. We'll save that for last. It seems like the deck is really going to live or die on how powerful these continuous traps are, so let's leave with them. And it looks like they're all about the same, so let's just go down the line, starting with Argostars Lightning Taidu. Taidu? French? I don't know, there's a lion in the back. What does that have to do with anything? Although it does have lightning eyebrows, so I guess it's okay. While this card is face up in the spell trap zone, warriors you control gain 500 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, special summon this as an effect monster, 2,000 attack, 2,000 defense, and the following effect. Also, this is still a trap card. Then you can add 1 Argostars from your deck to your hand, except a copy of itself. Once per turn, quick effect, you can place this card face up in your spell trap zone. Alright, a lot going on here. First of all, pretty big monster. 2,000, 2,000. So I was worried that these would be small, but like 2,000 alongside this potential 4,000 is pretty good. This is also our Searcher card. It adds any Argostars card. So that includes the stadium, that includes the quick play, all the traps, all the monsters. So I guess we want to play it at 3. And I guess that means we want to play this at 3. Because these 2 are the only way that we're going to be getting this on the first turn. We kind of want to open with a little bit of both. Other than that, it doesn't do a whole lot. Other than, I guess if something tries to stop it as a monster, it can bounce it face up. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Not what I was expecting at all. Let's see how these other ones fare. Let's go ahead into Argostars Swift Capone. I know that's not it, but I want to believe that this is based on famous mobster Al Capone, if he was an anime girl with pink bubblegum hair. So, while this is face up in the spell trap zone, warriors you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, if a continuous trap is in the monster zone, you can special summon this as an effect monster with 1,800, 1,800, and the following effects. Also, this is still a trap. Then, if you have a banished Argostars, gain 500. This is the problem-solving card text on these is crazy. All the parentheses and like it has this effect, but also this. If a continuous trap is in the monster zone, so you already have to have one. Did this have this? No, you just have to discard a card. Okay, so this one you can only summon if you already have one. You gain 500. It's an 18/18. Doesn't seem worth it. Gaining life points and needing another monster to do it. Definitely, I'll put them in the side deck for now. Maybe we want more. Although this is already opening up some interesting lines. There is one thing that I like about this archetype so far, which is that it's not entirely generic, but it's giving you some direction. All the continuous traps benefit warrior monsters, so it makes me think that maybe we can mix this in with some other warrior staples, maybe even a whole other warrior archetype, and have these like synergize with each other a little bit. And then also continuous traps. This benefits from any kind of continuous trap. Yeah, this makes it so all continuous traps and their effects can't be negated. This one you have to return an Argostars, but you can set any continuous trap and it can be activated this turn. And then each time a continuous trap is special summoned. Okay. So we might have some potential to go with like Azaroon and like Silhouette Rabbit, stuff like that. Could even go with Statue of Anguish pattern or the Dirt Spider as I call it. There's a lot of potential for things you can do here. Of course, I can also see why a lot of people talk about this being a deck to facilitate floodgates. You know, when people were telling me that before, I assumed it was the same curse that a lot of small archetypes get, where like if you have an archetype that only has a few members and they do one or two specific things and completely ignore entire like zones on the board. Like so far on this, I'm not seeing anything that really interacts with the graveyard. So I can imagine you could probably play something like Macrocosmos. But now I'm learning that, yeah, not only is Macrocosmos probably good in this because it's a floodgate that shuts down most meta decks, but it's also a continuous trap, which turns on a lot of your other cards and effects. So they specifically gave them synergy with a whole bunch of floodgate cards, so it may be inevitable that we end up playing them, who knows. Either way, let's go ahead and look at our last continuous trap, Argostars Slayer Yugioh. While this card is face up in the spell trap zone, warriors cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, special summon this as an effect monster, 800 attack and defense. With the following effect, it's still treated as a trap. If you have a banished Argostars monster, return one card on the field to the hand. And then you can place this in the spell trap zone. Okay, so we've got Compulse. We've got Compulse, but only if your opponent activates something and only if you banish an Argostars. For lack of any better things, I'm going to say this is a 3 of. And this is absolutely, you know, just right off the bat, reinforcements of the army. We're going to throw one of those in there. Where's it at? Doing the old school one. You absolutely need to play this because it feels like if you get this, then like all of these are on. You have a banished Argostars, you can activate all your other stuff, you can do things. But if you don't get that, you're kind of screwed. I don't know if there's any other way to search this. We'll have to look. And that's the entire archetype. Yeah, not impressed so far. I can see some possibilities. First, though, I do want to check this out. We aren't using this, but I'm curious to see if this has something that can make this better. Because right now, it seems very slow. It feels very low-powered. We've got a bounce. We've got maybe a negate and some protection from destruction, but it's not looking great out there, folks. But let's check out this. Argostars Courageous Arion. It's a warrior Ixie, dark for some reason, 22/22. Takes any 2 level 4, so it's generic. Once per turn, you can also Ixie summon this by using one Argostars you control. It's a Zodiac! Every modern Ixie is a Zodiac. If this card is Ixie summoned, you can add one Argostars spell from your deck to your hand. During the standby phase, detach 2 materials, place 3 Argostars continuous traps from your graveyard face up in your spell trap zone. So you can make it with 1 and then search a spell, which I guess is, oh, we forgot to read this. This might make everything. But unless this is like crazy go nuts, this seems like bad. Right? I get the idea that like, oh, we're rewarding you. If you actually make this with 2 level 4s, then you can do the whole thing where like you get to place all 3 of the traps, but it's from your graveyard. It's not even from your deck. This should be from the deck with how weak these are. Sometimes when I play a deck early, if I go on the ladder climb and I'm like, oh, we're gonna try out this deck, there's new support coming, I feel bad because it's like, oh, the new support really opens things up. Maybe this does, but so far this seems like, I mean, you would play it, why wouldn't you? But it ain't gonna be like the big make or break. Anyway, let's go ahead, go back. We forgot about Argostars Giant Slaying. Let's see if this is the one thing that cracks open the Argostars archetype. Quick play spell that says, add one Argostars monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, we can stop reading there. Let's go back to Argostars. Good. I was really worried that this was gonna be like, we gotta get our one of our 4, but now we have 7 ways to get to our big starter. There was more to this. Maybe there's like a comically bad like restriction for doing that, but we'll see. Okay, so add an Argostars monster. Then immediately after this effect resolves, if a continuous trap is in your monster zone, or a continuous trap with an effect that special summons itself as a monster is in your spell trap zone, normal summon one warrior monster. During your main phase, you can banish this from your graveyard, target 2 cards on the field, including an Argostar continuous trap you control, return them to the hand. Alright! It's only during your main phase, even though this is a quick play. But either way, it gives us more removal while also searching everything and giving us another normal summon. So they're really opening things up for us to play other warriors in this. I'm just not sure what warriors benefit from continuous traps. I'll have to do some research. This is really one of those ones where after I'm doing this, I'm gonna sit down here for like 10 minutes and like type in the word continuous trap and warrior type monster, look up level 4 earth and light warriors, just do a bunch of experimentation to see what I can find. Which is always a great way to like learn more cards if you're newer at Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even if you're experienced and just want to like refresh your knowledge, see if there's something you missed, some pack filler card that actually works really well in here. Never hurts to do so. Of course, also, now that you kind of know what the cards do, this might be a good time to look up other people's deck lists, see what they've come up with. But I'll leave that for later. For now, let's go ahead and do some research, which you can skip with the magic of editing. And there we go, ladies and non-ladies. After spending quite a while looking at stuff, this is what I came up with. And to be honest, it's not great. There's not a whole lot of options to work with. I looked at all the different warrior cards that might have had synergy with this, and there's none. There's just none, except maybe War Rocks, and I'm not going to combine one of the worst archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! With one of the worst archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! That just seems like a recipe for disaster. So I decided if we're going to play something silly, something that's not really that great, we might as well go full silly with it. Now there are a whole bunch of other good continuous traps you can play in here. Azaroon negates a summon. Anguish Pattern, the dirt spider I mentioned before. This is every time you summon a continuous trap monster, you get to pop a card on the field, not once per turn. So this allows you, especially with how often these like go back and forth, to really get a whole bunch of like recursive destruction on the board. We've also got Apophis, which is more negation. We've got this, which does a lot of burn damage, which along with the field spell might help us. And then the one really goofy thing I decided to play was That's 10. It's a continuous spell. Every time a card or effect is activated, place a counter on this. Monsters gain 100 attack for every counter. If the 10 counter is placed, return this to the hand and set from your deck one continuous trap with an effect that special summons itself as a monster, and it can be activated this turn. So that allows us to get all of the Argostars, obviously, as well as any of these, and we can activate them easily, so it searches out Anguish Pattern. But it also gets You're Finished, which is a continuous trap monster that can only be summoned if 10 or more cards or effect have been activated during this turn. It's a 3,000/3,000, and once per turn, when the opponent activates a card or effect, you can destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible, and then set this in the spell trap zone. So it's an entire board wipe. And basically how this works is like, because That's 10 lets you set it from the deck the turn that 10 is activated, you can immediately activate this as soon as you get it. And I've been told that getting 10 is not that difficult, especially with the Argostars being able to kind of like summon themselves and then go back, like that's 2 just by itself. And this counts effects on both players' turns. So if your opponent's trying to do something and you're summoning these traps and activating things and popping and going back and forth, it shouldn't be that hard to get this. And then once you wipe the field, hopefully you can clean up on the subsequent turns. So we're playing that. I'm not sure if it's going to be any good, but we're already playing a bad deck. Might as well have some fun with it. Other than that, I put in some hand traps so we'd stand a chance. Maxi and Ash, of course, Effect Veiler. I'd say maybe Called By, but honestly I feel like Maxi and Ash don't hurt this deck that much. I guess Ash kinda does, especially since we're now playing Speedroid Terror Top. If you don't know, this is a free special summon. Search as Taka Tomborg. You can summon this if you have this. That gets you 2 level 3s, which makes you MX Saber Invoker. This is an Ixie that summons a level 4 warrior or beast warrior from the deck. And what do you know? We got a level 4 Earth Warrior right here. So this is basically just another way to get to Ardra, who gets you to 2 of your Argostars cards. So we have a whole bunch of ways to get our 1-card starter. We've got a few hand traps to help protect us. We've got a big goofy win condition. And then we have a bunch of toolboxy things that we can summon that might help us out. The extra deck is mostly for show. It's just stuff that we can make. The only thing I'd really recommend is you want Silhouette Rabbit. This is any 2 effect monsters, and when it's link summoned, you can set a continuous trap with an effect that summons itself as a monster. So it searches all of these cards, lets you put it onto the field. And then other than that, we've got like some rank 3s, some rank 4s, Zeus of course, some warrior specific stuff, and a few generic links that might work. Again, as I said at the very beginning, is this the best Argostars build? No, absolutely not. This is a rough draft. This is my first attempt at building something, and I have no idea if it's going to work out. But what a lot of people don't seem to understand about getting good at anything, or making a good product in general, is that it involves a lot of trial and error. It involves a lot of failure and then learning from that failure. So this deck will probably be a failure. I'll probably learn a lot of things though by testing it out. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in, play some test hands against the computer, and see if I can figure out like, okay, can I get that's 10 against a deck that's barely doing anything? If you don't know, I'm on yugioh Omega, which is a nice little free program for testing out Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. And they have a nice test hand feature that'll put you up against a computer that plays like normal monsters and continuous spells. Like it won't actually do anything to threaten you. So this seems like a good opportunity to test this out. All right, so right off the bat, we've got Arda. Now they can't activate anything. Use the effect. Just get 2. I already have the bounce in my hand. So yeah, let's just get this and this. Put these face up. Let's see, I have the Giganta Slaying, so I can get the other one. I have the Stadium, but I don't want to recall this back. Okay, so what I can do, we'll activate this, we'll discard you. We'll summon this in defense, and then we'll get to add another card. We've already got almost anything, so I guess we just get another copy of this. I'm noticing that none of these are hard once per turn, so getting 2 of these is 2 bounces. And you may be like, Joe, you only have 1. You sent the other one to the graveyard. Stadium. Activate the Stadium. Let's grab this back. We want to keep 1 banished so that all our other effects are on. I could summon this, get Silhouette Rabbit. Yeah, that's probably the better way to go. And plus, we'll do 500 damage. And I'll gain 500. I actually probably wanted to do that beforehand, but that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to make Silhouette. While this is face up, warriors, when your opponent activates a card or effect. Okay. So we'll use this. We'll get you're finished. And then we'll see if we can trigger it by ourselves. By setting this, and this, and this, and this. Set 5, pass. Kick in some ass. Okay, and then as soon as their turn starts, first things first, I'm the greatest. We summon the Anguish Pattern. That does 500, that's 1. I don't think summoning is actually activating a card, but I can activate this. They're gonna activate that. Yeah, so we summon this. Use the card, return that to the hand. 500. Anguish Pattern activates, destroy this. Oh yeah, Silhouette also lets you destroy a spell trap when a trap monster is summoned. So I've just got like extra stuff. Let's see, we'll do this one. Oh, I can't summon this once. Yeah, I should be able to summon this. It doesn't say a hard once per turn, it just says, well, whatever. Activate this. Let's go ahead and add this. Let's use the effect. Summon this. Let's... Quick effect, you can... I have to reveal it. Then special summon it. Okay, gotcha. We'll activate this, put it back in the back row. And we didn't even get close to 10. But we also got quite a few things here. Am I missing something? Oh yeah, this is when your opponent activates something. That's why I can't do it. I forgot that this isn't just like a free summon. We're good, we're fine. I think we still got game, at least in this particular case. We just need to get to more stuff. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's grab our banished card back. Let's normal summon it. Now they can't activate anything. Put it there. We're gonna put these two. Maybe I need another one. Discard a card, summon, search, get her, activate, return this, summon her. And we got 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's still not game. There's gotta be... No, I don't. I guess I could do Garrus, but then I'd lose the attack. Okay. So maybe getting enough attack is going to be the difficult part. And activating 10 might not be as easy as I think. Granted, again, this was against a deck that, Oh, that was 8,000. I don't know how I completely miscalculated that. Burn damage. I forgot all the burn damage that was happening. Either way, there you go. That's what Argostars do. If your opponent doesn't put up a fight, if you get a decent hand, even just messing around, like that was my first hand playing. Usually I like edit until I get a good one. So that's what they do on unrestricted. Let's see if I can find someone in chat to play with, get a duel. Try that out and see how they work in actual, like, game conditions. All right, loading in against Frost Hollow. Thanks for giving me something to test against. Let's see how this does in more realistic conditions. I told them to play a bad deck. Let's see how bad is bad. Onomatopoeia. It can definitely get a negate or 2 or 3. Depends how good their hand is. Well, you know what happens when we go second. Let's see what happens if we go first. Let's try this again. I open with both times. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Terror Top. Here's where I would search the Takatam board. If I had to, but I don't. Amex Saber Invoker. And here's where if they have Ash Blossom, we just kind of lose. But it doesn't look like they do. So we get this, we activate this, we're gonna put you and you, we're going to activate, we're going to toss you to summon yourself, we're going to, I guess we're gonna get Giant Slaying. Oh, then we're gonna use both of these to make Silhouette. Silhouette set the Dirt Spider. We're going to activate this. We're going to pay 1,000. We're going to get back you, because you're our only copy. We're going to set 2. Do I even activate this? No. We'll try this. And then as soon as the turn starts, we're going to get Anguish Pattern. Defense. 500. Okay, nothing I can do against that. They're just doing some searching. Yeah. So we'll special summon this. We'll use the effect to bounce that back. That summons this, but then Anguish Pattern activates and pops it. And they're left with this weird purple line that doesn't do anything. Your opponent is about to move to the next phase. And there you go, the crux of this deck. Can it be pretty brutal against lower powered decks if you go first? Absolutely. Hell, there's some powerful decks that, like, if they put 2 monsters on board and you bounce one and pop the other one, they might not be able to do a whole lot. But it's really going to depend on whether or not you go first, whether or not you can resolve the stuff you want. Do we want to do this? No. And then we can use the effect from the hand to put this back in the hand and put this back out. So then we have this we can activate again. Or we could just discard it for this to search another card. What game is this? Yu-Gi-Oh! There we go. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll discard this. We'll summon this. We'll get another one of her. We won't use either. And we'll go ahead and activate this. We're just getting all the monsters. And there you go. Not only can you, like, completely stop your opponent, but then you're just, like, you've got so much damage. Blue Eyes, just girl with bat, coming in here like Little Slugger in his prime. Comment in the comments if you've seen Paranoia Agent. Great show, excellent show, 10 out of 10. Go get him, Capone! Bada bing! Alright, so overall, you know, despite the reputation this deck has, it's definitely not one of Yu-Gi-Oh's worst archetypes. You know, I've played some decks in here before where I wasn't sure what the win condition was, I wasn't sure how you were supposed to defeat opponents. This clearly has stuff that you're trying to do. It just loses to every hand trap known to man, like an Imperm or an Ash or a Veiler on the Invoker would have completely stopped our plays. And also, it has no play going second because it's a trap deck that needs to resolve monster effects to get to its trap, so if they make like 1 or 2 negates, you're doom screwed. But if you go first, and you don't get interrupted, you can win the game in like 1 or 2 turns. You can put on a field that is actually pretty imposing to certain decks. I mean, even just in general, Anguish Pattern plus like 3 Argostars is like a death sentence to most decks. They can't handle having that much stuff popped. And especially if you're gonna go into like, this almost feels like a win more card. Like, because if you're already gonna get this, you might as well. And then maybe you could change these out for more hand traps. That might be a better way to help you survive. Either that, or maybe you lean into some of those floodgates, play like a skill drain and a mind drain or whatever, since a lot of these effects are like monster effects. Maybe you could just play more of these. There's a lot of options. I think you could at least make it like into high gold, maybe even plat with this deck, if you really wanted to. It's just a matter of why would you want to? Do you really like the art? Do you really like trap decks? I feel like there are other anime girl archetypes and other trap decks that are probably better off, that fit the mold better, but I mean, you do you. Either way, thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. You know, if you made it all the way to the end, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Give the video a little like, let YouTube know, like, hey, we should recommend this to more people. Thank you to Twitch chat for joining me. And if, you know, any of you out there really like the content, again, consider joining the Patreon. Just $1 helps. You also get onto my patrons-only Discord, and then you get notifications when I go live. You can come down and watch these streams live. Anyway, until next time, good luck and have fun.